gang, it's Dr. Joy here, and you are watching Delivering Joy MD. We are still in our Super Mama Summer series, and this is part of our big Labor Day week marathon. So I'm going to be talking to you about something that I think is so timely and important right now, and that is COVID-19 and pregnancy. So make sure you keep watching so you can get all this important info. All right, mamas, let's jump right into this video. So coronavirus has just kind of exploded onto the scene. We have this international pandemic going on. There's so much information out there. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And so I want to give you the tea on what you need to know for today, the information that is available today, and just kind of give you a few pointers and tips on how to avoid the coronavirus and what to do if you happen to test positive in pregnancy. So first things first, the coronavirus is a part of a family of viruses called the coronavirus family, right? So this particular coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, is a new coronavirus that has kind of come on the scene that is a mutation of other coronaviruses. The problem with this particular virus is that it can lead to some severe respiratory disease. And so the actual disease that's caused by this virus is called COVID-19. So one thing that we really need to know about this virus is that it is spread by respiratory droplets. So that means when someone coughs or sneezes or speaks or sings or yells, those particles are just kind of thrown out there, and other people may actually inhale them. They may touch surfaces where these particular virus particles are located and then touch their eyes or their face or their nose or their mouth. And so this is transmitted by respiratory droplets. In some cases, this virus can also be airborne. For instance, when someone sneezes or when someone is on a ventilator, these are ways that we can actually get it just by simply inhaling the air around us. That is what makes wearing a mask so important, because you don't know when someone may cough or sneeze or yell, and those respiratory particles are put out there, and you can simply get it by inhaling. Masks stop you from inhaling a lot of this aerosolized particle. They're not 100%, but they're definitely better than nothing. So if you're not wearing a mask and you're pregnant, I really highly recommend that you start wearing a mask in public. So the other things that are really helpful to avoid getting this virus are frequent hand washing, frequent sanitizing of surfaces in your home or at your place of business, and making sure too that you're not just frivolously going out. So if you don't need to go to the grocery store, or you don't necessarily have to work in the office, if you have the ability to work from home, try to limit your interaction with large groups. Don't go to parties that are larger than 10 people. Try to make sure that you are being very cautious about what you absolutely need to do and what doesn't necessarily have to be done by you. The great news that I have for you is that based on what we know today, it does not appear that the coronavirus affects pregnant women any more than it affects any other population. So that's good news, but it does mean that you are still at risk just like anyone else out there in the population. The other good news is that most pregnant women who have tested positive for COVID-19 are usually asymptomatic, meaning they don't have any symptoms at all, but they do happen to have coronavirus. The not so great news is that those women who are COVID-19 positive and do have symptoms are more likely to require hospital care and even ICU admission. So you want to avoid getting this virus in pregnancy if at all possible, because you don't know if you'll be an asymptomatic person or someone who gets really sick. More good news. It appears that COVID-19 is very rarely transmitted from mother to baby while the baby is still inside the uterus. So far, of all the pregnant women that we've seen with coronavirus, we've only identified about 2 cases where it appears that the coronavirus was transmitted from the mom to the baby while the baby was in the uterus. most of the COVID-19 positive babies that we've seen actually got it after they were born. So now we know that there are some precautions that need to be taken when babies are born to COVID positive mamas. So now I'm sure you're wondering, well, what precautions should those be? So some institutions are having their babies stay in the nursery and stay apart from their moms. Other institutions are putting up barriers in the room and letting baby stay in the room with mom, while even other institutions are coming out and actually just having the mom sanitize the neck and chest area and the breast area, wear gloves and wear a mask so that she is able to continue to bond with her baby. If you happen to be a woman who tests positive for COVID-19, you want to talk to your OB and also to your delivery hospital about what those policies are. Speaking of testing, most women who are coming in for labor and delivery at hospitals around the country are going to be asked to be tested for coronavirus. So you want to be tested for COVID-19. And because we are trying to have this testing done, many hospitals are suggesting to women that they pick a delivery date. A lot of hospitals are recommending actually scheduling an induction of labor. I still think that this is something that really needs to be discussed between the mama and her OB, and it definitely needs to be something that you choose. In the event that you choose to go into spontaneous labor, then it's really important that when you come in that you receive a rapid COVID test so that you know what your status is prior to baby being born, so that those special precautions that we talked about can be taken in your case. The other thing that you may want to just be aware of is when you're doing spontaneous labor and we don't have a negative coronavirus test, your doctors and nurses will be expected to use what's called contact and airborne precautions. That means that when they come into your room, you may see them wearing head covers, you may see them wearing shoe covers, aprons, gloves, gowns, and special masks, as well as eye protection. So it's not to say anything about you, it's not meant as a disrespectful thing, but we have to protect all of the people who are involved in your care, as well as the other patients who are on the floor with you, who those medical professionals may be taking care of as well. So with spontaneous labor without prior COVID testing, until we're able to get that negative COVID test, everyone should be using the appropriate precautions. For those mamas who do decide that they want to be induced between 39 and 41 weeks and choose a day, usually you'll be asked to do COVID-19 testing a few days prior to your admission, and then you'll be asked to self-quarantine, meaning that we should see you at Walmart 10 minutes after you've had your COVID-19 testing. So we want you to stay home and limit your activity and limit the number of people that you're around, just to protect the healthcare workers taking care of you and also the other patients on the floor that those healthcare workers may be taking care of. One of the biggest questions that I've been getting from moms is, what if I get COVID-19 testing and I'm positive? Well, in that case, we will know that we need to use all of the personal protective equipment while taking care of you. We also know that we need to help you have great hand hygiene, and that we need to make sure that you're wearing your mask when baby's bonding with you, and that we're keeping your chest and breast area clean so that you are still able to breastfeed if you desire to do so. We recommend breastfeeding still, whether or not you are COVID-19 positive or negative, because breastfeeding is the best feeding, and you will be producing some antibodies that you can transfer to your baby in breast milk. So far, we have not seen any cases of COVID-19 being transferred to babies in breast milk. So we are still recommending breastfeeding for all of those wonderful benefits that we love so much. Another big source of anxiety that I've found with my patients, and it may be with you too, is support people in labor. So my organization is allowing one designated support person, and that means that this is a person who we have decided is going to be there to support you during your labor and your birth process. By designated support person, we mean that this is one person who's going to be with you throughout your entire stay. We don't allow people to really switch out unless you have some special circumstances. And if you do have special circumstances, it's important to discuss those with your care team so that we know what those are and so that we can kind of make sure that we're being safe. The whole point of a designated person is so that we can track who has been on the floor with our mamas and babies and who all is present. And so that helps us track. If someone becomes positive or people start getting sick, we kind of know at least who was there, and we can backtrack to make sure that everyone who has come in contact with that individual has been tested, and that we kind of know how this infection is spreading through the hospital unit. Some institutions are allowing one support person as well as a doula if you have a doula or a labor coach. So you want to talk to your OB about that and your delivery hospital of choice so that you kind of know what's allowed. At our organization, we are allowing a partner or a labor support person and a doula, and that is just for those women who request that special permission. So if there's something, that you have going on, some sort of mitigating circumstance where you may need an additional support person, make sure you talk to your OB and talk to your hospital in advance so that this doesn't turn into a really stressful situation when you come in to have your baby. I want to give you a few tips on recognizing coronavirus symptoms. These symptoms are just all over the place. They're all across the board. So some women experience just severe fatigue. Some women have cough, cold type symptoms, loss of taste or smell, having GI upset, so having an upset tummy where you're having nausea and vomiting or diarrhea can be a sign. Some women say that they have shortness of breath. That is a sign that is definitely one that you want to pay close attention to. If you're having shortness of breath at rest, then you definitely want to be coming into the emergency department to be seen. Fever can be another sign. And also women who have just persistent cough that just does not seem to get better over time may also consider being tested for COVID-19. If you have a concern and you are worried that you have been in contact with someone who is COVID-19 positive, you should let your OB know, and you should certainly self-quarantine until you can be tested and make sure that you have a negative test. Many offices are doing coronavirus screening when you come in, meaning that you'll have your temperature taken and you'll be asked to set a set of questions. One thing I really want to stress is that if you have been having symptoms of COVID-19, or if your labor support person or your partner has been having symptoms, it's really important to answer those questions honestly. There's no sort of punishment, but it is important that we are keeping everybody safe, including you, and that you're getting the best possible care. So don't be afraid to speak up about those things. I also have been telling my patients to find a backup support person for labor just in case you get close to that time period and your partner or your main support person gets sick. So make sure that you're thinking about those things. Thinking ahead really helps to decrease the stress and anxiety that can come with this massive pandemic. So I hope I've answered most of your questions. If I didn't get your question, go ahead and post it in the comment section below. Or if you have other concerns, post those too. And I'll be happy to interact with you some more on this topic. Make sure that you share this video with someone who could use it, and that if you found it helpful, that you give it a thumbs up. I'll see you next time, girl gang. Peace.
See you soon, girl gang. Don't forget to subscribe and comment below.